Hi there and welcome to Rocco Fit Health and Fitness. My name is Rosa Coelho and I'm so excited to have you join me today for another simple yet incredibly nourishing recipe. Now this is one that I'm particularly excited to bring you because it took me a while to make it. I was really kind of intimidated by the whole process, yet it's super simple. The recipe is bone broth. Now we know that bone broth can be quite expensive to purchase, but not only just, I like making it not only just for the saving and cost effective side of it, but there's something about when we really make our own food and nurture it and love it that it really nourishes us on a different level. Now I know that might sound a bit woo, but that's totally how I feel about it. So I'm going to take you through the process. Super simple. So I'm making a chicken bone broth today, but you can do this with any bones. Now there's two ways I often do this. One is if I have a whole chicken that we've had for dinner, I will just use the entire carcass of that chicken and I'll go through the same process that I'm going to go through now. Now we haven't done that, so what I do is when I'm at the grocery store and I find organic chicken bones or beef bones, I just purchase those, keep them in my freezer until I'm ready to go. So I'll tell you one thing that really intimidated me about this one in particular, and I wanted to add this one ingredient because I knew how rich in collagen it is and how good it is, and that is chicken feet. Now that really grossed me out, and I remember the first time I made it, it was really hard to do. But you know, I just got used to it, and the flavor and the gelatin and collagen that you get from it is so worth adding them in. So what I'm adding in right now are some, these are just frozen. You don't have to defrost them. Mine have been out for a little bit, just actually while I set everything up. But here I have chicken necks and chicken backs. You can add wings as well. Anything that's just really that bony bit. So I put in my slow cooker. So I love this slow cooker. It's just a really simple slow cooker that I have. It's literally got 2 settings on it, nothing fancy. So I put the bones in first, and then I'm gonna put the chicken feet in. Now the first time I added chicken feet, they really freaked me out because I just think they look like hands, and the nails disgusted me. So I tried to like take the nails off, but that was not a smart idea. Anyways, it doesn't gross me out anymore. So I just place them in here, kind of like just get them to the bottom so that I can have more room for my veggies. And quickly just wash my hands from touching the raw chicken. Nice and convenient in our new kitchen. Everything's like right here. Okay, so the first thing I do, like I said, is I put those bones in, and then I get to work on the vegetables. Now the vegetables are really simple. I just think of this trio. It's kind of like the base I use for everything, for soups, for stews. So you need your carrots, your celery, and your onions. So I take a couple of onions, and garlic. So, sorry, my garlic's right here. Now they say that for broths, for bone broth, that you do not need to peel your onions because you're going to actually be straining it all. I don't know. I like to peel mine anyway. So if you want to wash the outsides of them and then just add them, that's totally cool. But like I said, I'm just gonna do it this way. And I just always have. So I do use 2 kind of medium-sized onions in there. What I love to do with this bone broth, once it's done, I actually really like having it just on its own. I do have it on hand in the freezer and I'll show you how I freeze it after, for things like soups and stews, and it's a really nice way to add extra nutrients into those meals and extra flavor. But there's nothing for me like having that just bone broth on its own. What I usually do is I warm it up in the stove, and I'll add some extra herbs at that time. I don't really put a lot of herbs in right now to cook with it, but I do like to add things like rosemary and parsley, chives, when I'm heating it up, and it just tastes so yummy and it's so soothing. So it's so good for your gut. So the onions are in, the celery goes in next. I've already washed this, and you just chop everything like really quite rough. Like you don't need to, it doesn't need to be in little pieces. It's actually better if it's not in little pieces. And now I'm gonna add my carrots, and your pot does start to get pretty full. Just cut it kind of in the pieces so that I can really get it in there. Okay, now in this case, I think I'm just gonna add those 3 carrots. It's getting a little full for this extra one, so that's fine. You can't really go wrong like if you add an extra onion or you add less garlic, or you just kind of go for it. The garlic, I don't worry about peeling as well as I normally would. So if I leave a little bit of garlic peel, I don't really care. I put in quite a bit of garlic because I love it and it's so good for you. So I'm putting in, I don't know, maybe like five cloves. I don't know if that's a lot. It might seem like a lot. Here's a trick for garlic that I wanted to show you is I peel my garlic. Garlic is a pain to peel, I find. So what I'll do is I'll just sit there and I'll peel like a whole bunch of it and put it into this little container, keep it in the fridge, and then I have it ready to go for recipes. And then I use garlic a lot more because of being prepared that way. So I find that easier. Okay, now in terms of herbs, here's what I do. I add 1 to 2 bay leaves, so 1 little one or 1 big one or 2 little ones. This is a decent size, so I put that one in there. Then I add some salt. I'm putting some like thicker sea salt. You can use Himalayan pink salt, Redmond's real salt, whatever you'd like. Don't worry about over salting it. You can always add more salt later. Then some pepper. And again, this is one that sometimes I don't add at the beginning. I'll add it later on. And then the key ingredient is apple cider vinegar. And you want to put about a tablespoon to maybe 2 tablespoons. I just put a couple of capfuls in. They say that this is what really pulls out the minerals from the bones. So now if you're gonna do this with beef bones, I've also roasted them before I've used them, and that just kind of gives it a deeper, richer flavor. Other times I'm too lazy, I just make it this way. So then next what you're gonna do is I've got filtered water from my Berkey filter, and you just put the water right until you've covered all of it. I don't have quite enough, so I'm gonna have to add a little bit more. The Berkey's a little slow. So once this is done, I'm gonna put the lid on it, and you wanna do chicken bones for at least 12 hours. I like to go even up to 24 hours. So anywhere kind of in that range is really great. So I'm just gonna cover it until I'm seeing the water, and then voila, the lid goes on and it's ready just to sit here. And then in the morning, what I'm gonna do is strain it, and I will show you how I actually then keep some in the fridge and how I freeze it. Okay, and here we are with the magic of video 20 hours later, and my bone broth is ready. Again, just to repeat, with chicken, you can go as low as 12 hours and up to 24. Beef bones, you wanna definitely go longer, up to 24. I'm gonna be out and kind of home at an awkward time, so that's why I'm gonna kind of pull mine out a little bit earlier than I usually like to. Okay, so here we go. Just remove the lid, and this is looking really good. You can start to see like the collagen on top. It's beautiful, it's glistening. So the way I like to do is I just get a pot and then have a strainer, and I find this system works really well, super simple. And then I'm going to, let me see if this is too hot. It might be a little hot because I think I've done this little, oh, we're okay. So I'm gonna remove it. Okay, so this takes a little bit of muscle memory to have, oops, a little bit of room to do this, and you're just gonna, oh, this is hotter. This is hotter than I thought, so better be careful. So I'm just gonna grab a towel, and then I drain it through. Oh my gosh, this smells really good. Okay, and so I will drain the rest of that out, but this is gonna, oh, actually I've got a lot of room. Let me just dump it all in because I can show you what I do. Pour out everything, and all of this stuff you're just going to put into your compost. So I let it cool down, and then I put it in the compost once it's cooled. There's no more nutrients in this food. I know at first I used to feel so bad. It felt like such a waste, but everything's been pulled out. It's been simmering for so long, so I just give it a really good shake. And then I do 2 things. I keep some for the fridge for the week. It'll store for up to a week. And that one I just like to have, just like as a nice drink in the morning or in the afternoon. I like to add some extra herbs to it, and it's a really comforting drink. And then the other half, I actually freeze. And then I do that for the same reason. I'll unfrost it to have a drink, or I'll add it to soups and to stews to give it extra nutrition and really good flavor. So what I do is I pour it into glass jars, And I just filled the glass jar about, I'd say about halfway is kind of enough, because that's enough for a portion or two. And then you definitely don't want to fill it to the top because it will expand. Let me just take the plastic out of it. And let me show you this beautiful color. So much amazing, beautiful nutrition in here. You can already see the collagen starting to flow to the top. Some people do, when you freeze it, you're gonna find that you're gonna get that thick layer of kind of collagen and fat at the top. Some people will skim some of that off. I tend to keep it because that's where all the really good density is in. So it's totally up to you. But yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed this, and I hope that you're brave enough to try your own bone broth. Let me know. I'll post the exact recipe below, because I know once you've made something a few times, you just kind of start to make it in the style that you like it, whether you add more onions or more carrots, or totally up to you. So enjoy, and again, let me know, and remember to subscribe to the channel.